Peace be with you. Dear friends, welcome to Living Flame Podcast website and Facebook group. Gospel Reflections for Thursday in the 18th week in the Ordinary Time. Gospel according to John chapter 12 verses 24 to 26. Today we celebrate the feast of Saint Lawrence. Saint Lawrence suffered his martyrdom in the year 258. He was one of the most venerated Roman martyrs of the early church and is a patron of Rome. He is mentioned in the canon of the Mass. Now, what this gospel says, Jesus very clearly mentions that a seed has to fall to the ground and die in order to give life. He was saying that only by death comes life. The grain of wheat was ineffective and unfruitful so long as it was preserved, as it were, in safety and security. It was when it was thrown into the cold ground and buried there as if in a tomb that it would bear fruit. It was by the death of the martyrs that the church grew. We know the famous phrase, the blood of the martyrs was the seed of the church. It is always because men have been prepared to die that the great things have lived. But it becomes more personal than that. It is sometime only when a man buries his personal aims and ambitions that he begins to be of real use to God. At one time or the other, these martyrs bore witness to Christ. By death comes life. By the loyalty which was true to death, there have been preserved and born the most precious things which humanity possesses. By the death of personal desires and personal ambition, a man becomes a servant of God. He was saying that only by spending life do we retain it. The man who loves his life is moved by two aims, by selfishness and by desire for security. Not once or twice, but many times Jesus insisted that the man who hoarded his life must in the end lose it, and the man who spent his life must in the end gain it. We only think of what this world would have lost if there had not been men prepared to forget their personal safety and security, selfish gain and selfish advancement. The world owes everything to people who recklessly spend their strength and give themselves to God and to others. No doubt, we will exist longer if we take things easily, if we avoid all strain, if we sit at the fire and be comfortable, if we look after ourselves like the selfish rich man in the Gospels. Well, we will never die, rather live here the earthly life. But Jesus was saying that only by service comes greatness. The people whom the world remembers with love are the people who serve others. Of course, we have the beautiful example of Mother Teresa of Calcutta with the Saint Teresa of Calcutta. We have wonderful examples of selfless people who spend their life, Mahatma Gandhi, and many others who have given their life for others. And here in this gospel passage, when Jesus says that a grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, and then it becomes fruitful, he was perhaps referring to his own life. Jesus died on the cross and he was in the tomb for 3 days and then rose again. Then when he rose again, he met all the disciples and commanded them, go to the whole world and proclaim the good news and baptize people in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, and make them disciples. Dear friends, we have this wonderful example of the the martyr Saint Lawrence today. Our daily martyrdoms are quite many. There is no need for us to give our head to be cut off, to die as a martyr. Many saints in their own life have insisted that our daily martyrdom comes from our own neighbors. Sometimes little pinpricks, criticism, all sorts of things that help us to attain that spirit of martyrdom in our daily lives. Let us ask the Lord today, as we are celebrating this great feast of St. Lawrence, that this gospel passage becomes a part of our life, that it enlightens us that every good work that we do is the seed that we sow, and it will grow and bear fruit. It will be like the mustard seed that is sown in the field. It grows up and becomes a big tree or a shrub where the birds of the air will roost over them. God bless you.